back to the Acoustic Shop channel. I am Jeremy. This is John.
It's me.
And today we're here to answer the age-old question that goes all the way back.
The biggest question that has ever been posed to mankind. More important than the chicken or the egg. More important than why did the chicken cross the road?
Easier to answer. Can you tell a difference between an F-style mandolin and an A-style mandolin tonally? We've got 3 different brands and we're going to have a shootout, blind shootout. You won't be able to tell which is which. Can you hear the difference?
We're going to poke your eyes out. That's what we're going to do.
Welcome back. We are going to discuss the difference between A-style and F-style mandolins in a grand shootout like we've done in the past. This is our first mandolin shootout.
Blow it up, Jeremy.
But in case you haven't already done so, be sure to subscribe to our channel. We do a lot of fun stuff like this, even more fun stuff. We dragged a bunch of banjos and banjo cases behind horses, folks.
In the horse poopy. You know what I'm saying?
You already saw that if you're a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, do that right now. Also, if you want to skip some of the talking and just hear music, we have a full version of that recording, that song that introed this whole segment that you can go over to and just watch the video. But the purpose of this one is to tell, is there a tonal difference between an A-style and F-style mandolin? And it's a real good question. There is, if you took the back off of these, the sound chamber on an F-style mandolin is almost identical. Let's take a step back first. In case you're new to mandolin, this is an A-style mandolin. You can see it's just more the traditional teardrop shape. This is an F-style. We do have a whole video where we kind of explain some of the differences, I guess more of the external physical differences to it. But today we're going to see if you can tell a difference in the tone. F-style is very traditional with bluegrass music because Bill Monroe played one. I think if he had played an A-style mandolin,
he did play an A-style.
If his main mandolin was an A-style, I think you'd be seeing everybody playing an A-style mandolin. But everyone kind of recognizes he had an F7 originally, and then moved on to the
F5, correct.
F5, and it just both of them had the scroll, the 2 extra points, and the coolness factor. The headstock too has like this extra scroll and points. One of the reasons they cost quite a bit more is there's just a lot more labor involved. You're on it tonight, aren't you? A lot more labor involved in the carving of that. These are, a real well-built mandolin is going to be a hand-carved top and back. So that means these tops, you can see they have an arc to them, like an arch top guitar, both top and back. That means they start out with a pretty thick piece of wood and then have to carve both the inside of it and the outside to have this even contour, and they graduate it kind of like an old violin makers.
I think both, I was going to say, this is both borrowed techniques from violin making. I think that came first. Later on came into archtop guitars and mandolins. So it's the same sort of technique. You have to start with twice as thick a material in order to create the curve that is there. And it is actually graduated too. It's not just the same thickness all the way through it. There's some areas that are thinner than others, and it's a science.
We know there's some variants even in the same manufacturer. 2 of the same model, to the same A-style model will sound different to the same F-styles, and then different builders may build them a little bit differently. So we have Eastman, we've got an F-style and an A-style, the 315 and the 305. We're going to have Kentucky mandolins. We're going to compare those A-style and F-style, and also Weber. So we've got different price points and different manufacturers, all with a consistent 1F, 1A. If you always pick out an A-style or an F-style, we know that we have a conclusive difference in tone. If it's a mix, then maybe there isn't a big difference in tone. It's just more about the manufacturer. So I'm interested to see if I can pick out the difference. So now we're going to compare Kentucky mandolins, A-style and F-style. We didn't have the exact same model like we did with the Eastman,
They're
but we found the
close.
closest pairing that we have in stock.
They look alike.
I have the KM750 in my hand, so it's got the bound front and back, maple top, or maple back and side, and spruce top. You have the
KM105, correct, 105.
So again, bound top
No, 150.
and back, 150.
Yeah, it's 150.
We'll get these numbers down. So KM150 and the KM750. So this is going to be the F-style version. I think there's one level above that would be a closer match to this, but we should be able to get a pretty good comparison.
1, 2, 3. One, two, three.
All right, for the final set of mandolins we have Weber mandolins, and we're big Weber
You can't
fans.
get more matched than this.
Yes,
This is it.
This is officially, it's just like the first set.
Well,
The
first set
Eastmans
was
were both the
Mandolins.
300 series. This is the Yellowstone series. So the same exact appointments, same wood selection that they use when they're building them, just an A-style version and an F-style. We're going to see if you can tell the difference. This is kind of the top of the line that we have right now in an A and F to compare, and I'm looking forward to this one. So, John, We did the biggest shootout we could do with an A-Style and an F-Style. And I've got to say, I was one of those people that grew up playing an F-Style, and I was a little bit biased away from A-Styles. I think it's just more of a psychological thing. All my favorite players played F-Style mandolins, so I felt I'd had to be an F-Style. And then I saw Adam Steffi go out on the road with an A-Style mandolin, and I'm like, I should give that a try, maybe. And I did for a while. I played the Tucker mandolin, and he gave me an A-Style that I took on the road, and it was a monster, and that kind of opened my eyes to, hey, these A-Styles can sound just as big and woofy as an F-Style mandolin. But there is some tonal difference.
I think there is a tonal difference. I don't know what everybody out there is going to say, and obviously I don't even care. No, I'm just kidding. I think that there is a tonal difference. For me, on the average, every mandolin I played, and I think it even kind of mostly rang true. There were a couple little changes here, but A-Styles tend to be a little bit more bottom heavy, a little bit rounded more in the low mids, and not quite as bright and crisp on the top end. I think that rounded out on almost every mandolin we played, where the F-Styles tended to have a little bit more bite and a little bit tighter low end.
Over the years, that's kind of what I had found out of my personal experience, is that the F-Style, it felt like it just really competes better on a stage with a banjo and a loud guitar and a fiddle. It really just cuts and has that deep wolfy chop to it. And then when you go to play solos, the note separation just seems a little bit more defined. But I did find that may not be as much, or may not always be consistent by the style of the mandolin, more the build. I have played some A-Styles that will blow away a lot of F-Style mandolins out there as far as those same tonal properties that I'm looking for. And I've played some F-Styles that I would pass on.
I think it was a really weird situation. I think in the Eastmans, I tended to prefer the F-Style. I think, I'm going to give you my rundown. F-Style in the Eastman. In the Kentucky, I also thought the A-Style. Weirdly enough, I actually think I may have preferred the Weber Yellowstone in the A-Style, because I just think that one sounded absolutely fabulous. So maybe it's the A-Style versus F, I don't know, but in my ear, that was probably my favorite mandolin.
And this is interesting because when we played the Eastmans, the A-Style actually, for me, played easier. Like it felt, it projected a little bit more than the F-Style. And then when I got to the Webers, it was almost split evenly. Like I could be happy with either one of those. At first when I played the A-Style, I'm like, yeah, this is the one. And then I played the F-Style, and it's like, man, that's got a little bit more of that deep tonal stuff, especially the low register of it. So it is kind of a toss-up. I am no longer going to judge a book by its cover or a mandolin by its scrolls.
Oh, there you go.
I'm going to say, let me play each mandolin and judge it based on its character. Obviously, with our reviews, we're coming from a very long history of playing bluegrass music, but I know a lot of really good jazz mandolinists, classical players, and Celtic players, almost all to a T, prefer the A-Style mandolin. And then there's one more factor to think, or a couple more. One, like I said, something I like about this F-Style that can't be overstated is when you're sitting down with an A-Style mandolin, it constantly just does that, and you're having to hold it up to play.
They have straps.
That little point makes a big difference when you're practicing. So that's a little point makes a big point. But the biggest one is price.
Price.
If you are looking for a really good entry mandolin, you can buy a probably higher level, higher quality built A-Style mandolin than you could the F, and that's because it almost doubles the amount of labor, from what I've been told from mandolin builders, to do an F-Style mandolin. Even though that sound chamber is the same, this stuff takes time and precision.
I think in this particular video, for who I imagine most of the viewers are going to be that are going to want to check these differences out, if you're a beginner intermediate level mandolin player and you're like, why do I have to have an F or an A-Style? Honestly, I think that point cannot be overdriven. You could probably get a better quality A-Style and put at the same price point as a lower quality F-Style, and in that case, I would choose a better quality A-Style over a lower quality F-Style any single day.
It's going to make it easier to learn on a really good quality instrument. And then later on, when you found out that I really love this hobby, I'm really becoming a passionate mandolin player, you can look for and find that F-Style that's going to fit you if that's something that you're wanting, or you may end up just buying another A-Style at that point. But you're going to get a better start and a head start with that A-Style just because of the price difference.
Yep, I would agree with that. I think that should be, if anything, the biggest thing to come out of this video is make sure that you don't judge it just by its looks, because you can end up with a better quality instrument by doing something a little bit out of the box.
We love doing these comparison videos because we like to see what you guys think. In the comments below, say what you picked. We did a head-to-head with each brand. Tell us when it was in Eastman, which one you preferred, when it was the Kentucky, which you preferred, and the same for the Weber. Tell us what your favorite ones were and see if there's any consistency. If we get a consistent result, then we know that people can tell a difference. If it's kind of all over the board, then Pick the mandolin that suits you best, price point wise, look wise, feel wise, and tone. And if you can play it, that's even better. So thank you guys for tuning in again. And this was a lot of fun. I can't wait to do our next one.
We'll do it next time.
Hey, we really appreciate you guys watching that video. It was my favorite one we've made so far. We've done hundreds of videos, and that was the best one.
It was.
And the next one's going to be even better. If you'd like to see that, be sure you subscribe to this channel. And also, the more you comment and interact below, the more the YouTube algorithms pick it up and start pushing it out to other people, like-minded people.
Algorithms?
Algorithms, they're everywhere. They permeate the internet, and YouTube's got one. And it watches our videos, and it sees how much you comment, and then it pushes us to other people like you. And we want everyone to experience the Acoustic Shop world, where we talk about instruments, we do reviews, we got some fun videos coming up. We thank you guys so much for being a part of it, and we'll see you in the next video.